To remain updated with the latest business news, click on the bell icon.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and my guest today at North Block is CBDT Chairperson JB Mohapatra. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your time today. From the time the Union Finance Minister gave the budget speech yesterday, only one thing has been buzzing on social media all across. It's trending, and that is the taxation on the virtual digital assets. We are implying that is on cryptocurrencies. I want to begin by asking you to help clarify as to by taxing cryptocurrencies at 30% by applying 1% TDS as well, is the government in a way legitimizing cryptocurrencies in India?
No. The answer to your question, long-winded question, is a no. Taxation does not add or it does not attach any legitimacy, any legality to the transaction which has been effected for accounting for surplus or a deficit in a crypto trade. We, as part of the department, are not mandated to be questioning the legality of any business, any sector of the business, or any profession, or any transaction. All we have been mandated is to look at the taxation aspect of the surplus which is generated after a trade. So that's my short answer.
So you mean to say that all these cryptocurrencies which are currently in use, many of the Indians are using it. Over the past many months, we've been hearing there's a magnitude increase in the number of people involved in trading and investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFT also as non-fungible tokens. All of these, despite paying taxes, will not be legal.
No, because department is not mandated to be questioning the legality of a particular line of trade or profession. Just because it is taxed does not make it legal. So that is the answer. So the crypto trade, it may be declared illegal under the legislation, but the profits on the crypto trade will continue to be taxed as before.
We know, sir, that there was some sort of a regulatory framework or a legal framework already in the works, a cryptocurrency bill. It has not come in the budget session, so we don't know when will it be coming soon or not. But the government has instead gone ahead and taxed these cryptocurrencies before bringing out a bill. Could you help us understand why has the government gone ahead? What is the rationale behind this first, not bringing a law before, but by taxing it?
As a department, let me tell you that for a long time we have been working on the various intricacies and the various working of this crypto trade. For the last 5 years we have been working at it. And from different jurisdictions, we have mounted semi-intrusive actions into their affairs, into many exchanges.
Okay.
And we are now having a working knowledge of how the crypto trade functions.
Okay.
How the exchange is managed, how investors make money or lose money. Our data will now be supplemented by the legislation. Now we are mandated to look at the crypto trade as a line of business, which is now given a place in the Income Tax Act under a special provision, 115 BBH, under the TDS 194S, and it is very clearly defined in section 247 capital A as regards what constitutes a virtual digital asset. These three small but significant sections will allow a trader or an investor or an exchange to manage its affairs so that the taxation aspect of the trade can be worked out.
Do you have any estimate of the number of people who are currently investing or trading in cryptocurrencies? How big is this ecosystem right now?
We have some knowledge about the number of exchanges working in India. And they are said to be numbering 40.
Okay.
And out of the 40 exchanges, 10 are significant exchanges. And the biggest one has a turnover of 34,000 crores per annum. So the size of the market is quite large. Unconfirmed reports would say that 10 crore of the population, they have invested in crypto in one way or the other, in quantums ranging from very small to very large. We are not even interested in looking at the quantum of investment, right? Whether it is big or small. We are interested in knowing the quality of the sources of the investment. whether it is coming from the legitimate source and whether it is going to the legitimate source, right? Legitimacy of the source, that is always we will ask. And if the investment is from illicit sources, not only the trade surplus will be taxed, but the illicit investment also will be taxed. So that way, income tax getting into the crypto trade will bring order and discipline to the market.
So 10 crore people, even though it's unconfirmed, but it's mammoth. It's like the number of people are huge. What would you really tell these 10 crore people via our channel? What is the future of cryptocurrencies in India?
No, let me tell you that, the taxation aspect of a trade is not the aspect around which somebody makes an investment. It may be a significant aspect. It may be a determining factor for somebody making an investment. But it is not the only thing which will be driving somebody to make investment, right? There could be other factors which drive a decision to make an investment or to exit from an investment. Taxation is just an aspect of it. What the Income Tax Department has been allowed to do now is to say that government has empowered this department to tax the surplus on crypto trade at a particular percentage, right? It does neither legalize the trade or the surplus out of the trade, nor does it add any legitimacy to the trades conducted.
I also wanted to ask you, sir, Finance Secretary also has been talking about in the media that how perhaps he does not see these cryptocurrencies ever getting legalized in India. By taxation, by bringing in taxation on cryptocurrencies, I wanted to understand, has the government taken a balanced approach rather than a blanket ban on all cryptocurrencies like what we were hearing? Perhaps that could have been more difficult because more jurisdictions would have been involved in that?
No, but see, as far as the department is concerned, we are only looking at the taxation aspect, right? How to regulate the market, the crypto market? Who will be the regulator?
Yeah.
How many stakeholders will be consulted for framing the national policy, in which, of course, will be one of the stakeholders. So these are the determination of the government on a later date. But prior to formalization of a national policy on crypto, the department has been given the onerous responsibility of looking at the taxation aspect. This has not happened before. This is a first for the department to enter into a market, which I cannot say it is unregulated, but there are ambiguities around regulations. And so this is a challenge and an opportunity for the department to get in there and understand the depth of the market.
But how are you really defining these virtual digital assets as of now? Is it only cryptocurrencies? Is it also NFTs? What exactly comes under the purview of this definition?
Yeah, the definition is all-inclusive definition. It is provided in the new insertion called 247 capital A of the Income Tax Act. It finds a place in the bill, and it says very simply that any code or any information or any formula which is generated through cryptographic means and which has of inherent value and which can be electronically transmitted, stored, etc., including the NFT, it partakes the character of a virtual asset, virtual digital asset, right? Taking that definition into account, we have to look at the currencies which are now being traded in India. And I will not hazard a guess how many of them or all of them fulfill the criteria of being declared a virtual asset, virtual digital asset, right? I will not hazard a guess. There are better brains to be looking at the definition and understanding the currencies which are being traded now, and they will determine. And then, of course, we'll have an expert view on those before we take a call.
Right. Also wanted to ask you, sir, what is the rationale behind taxing cryptocurrencies at 30%? Is it because the government really thinks that this is speculative income and therefore it has been taxed at this high rate?
See, taxing rate at 30%, I don't think that this is a high tax rate, right? Okay. Companies are being taxed at 30%, right? Firms and LLPs are being taxed at 30%. You think it is the maximum? No, 30% is just one of the tax rates, and I don't think 30% is the upper end of the taxing powers of the government. No, it could have been more. It could have been more, right?
Okay.
But we pegged it at 30%, right?
Initially, but there could be a revision upwards.
That could be revision. Of course, there could be revision. But this correlation of 30% to gambling or as some people are alluding to, that this is a sin tax and all.
Yeah.
I think these are misplaced.
Okay.
These are misplaced. This is a tax break we thought would be reasonable. Apart from getting taxed at 30%, what other things are there that the losses will not be allowed, right?
Yes.
It will not be allowed to be set off or carried forward. So these are two things which are attached to the crypto trade. So let me remind your viewers also on that.
But do you think, sir, the taxation at 30% cryptocurrencies right now without making it clear with the law as to what exactly is happening in the realm of these very new virtual digital assets, is it going to impact the small investors more?
No, I don't think it will have any impact, any impact whatsoever on any investor, right? What I mean to say that the taxation aspect of the crypto trade, now it is formalized, right? The bill has now told the investors that this is the way tax on the surplus out of crypto trade will be taken from you. So there is less of ambiguity, more of certainty when it comes to trade in the virtual digital assets.
But do you think that till the time there is no clear law defining cryptocurrencies as whether it is a legal tender or not, constantly the people will be involved in investing in cryptocurrencies despite there is taxation or not, even if it is not good for them?
Crypto is a different way of making investment, because the exchange, the character of the exchange is very different from a stock market. From a stock market, here the exchange creates the market, is a market, and also it is a participant in the market. It buys and sells on its own, which never happens in the stock exchanges for securities. What the people have been worried about the crypto trade is the lack of transparency in the operations. Money for investment passes through wallet, goes to wallets, right? And so these are issues, the KYC requirements for opening a private wallet, hosted or unhosted, that also not very clear at this point in time. The KYC requirements, who is investing, what are his bona fide, whether he is investing in his own name or he is proxying for somebody else. These are areas of grave concern. Anti-money laundering efforts of the government and bringing the tax transparency to the fore for the last 3 and 4 years. What we have been trying to get more transparency to the tax system, right? It will be all washed out. It will be all washed away if we let this crypto trade remain shrouded in confusion and in opacity.
So what exactly is needed now to make it more clear that, it's not the right thing or the right direction right now? It is neither good for you nor the economy.
We are in no position as a department to be advising investors whether to invest or not to invest, right? But we are now providing a framework through defining crypto, the virtual assets, the machinery section for taxing, and also through the TDS mechanism, that we know the outreach, we know the coverage, we will try to understand the depth of the market and how it operates. That will give us, the policy planners, a good idea to build a good policy around crypto.
Okay. What will be the next step now that we have seen the announcement has come in of 30% taxation? What is the next step? How will the mechanism work? How will people be required to pay taxes? What will be the entire functionality?
Yeah, this kicks in from 1/4/22, 1st of April 22. And the TDS provisions will be kicking in from 1st of July 2022. The TDS provisions are simple. It is in 194S. It entitles few of the people not to deduct tax below a certain limit, right? 50,000 in the case of specified persons and 10,000 in case of non-specified persons, they need not deduct any TDS on those, right? So the TDS thing, it will open up the whole network of the investors and the exchange responsibility towards those investors, those traders and the investors, right? So it will give us a good overview of the whole market. So it will give us more inputs and we'll provide those inputs to the policy planners who are doing the national regulation.
Right. Before I move on and talk about the other topics, one last time I really request you to please emphasize on the legality aspect of the cryptocurrencies, because there is still a lot of confusion despite you talking to a whole lot of media and explaining this factor again and again.
Yeah, I will do that.
So please.
Okay. So, let me tell once again, emphasize this point that taxation of the virtual digital asset under the new provision 115 BBH does not lend itself to be attaching any credence, any legitimacy, any legality, which will be done under some other mandate. Income tax department only looks at the taxability of a transaction or taxability of a trade. Questioning the legality of a transaction or a trade is not within the mandate of the income tax department. So this may be borne in mind while investors make their decisions for investment.
Thank you, sir. I also wanted to ask you on the budget front, basically there was a whole lot of interest by people, citizens and taxpayers especially, in hope of some kind of a relief in the personal taxation front. That hasn't come through. What could have been the reason why the government could not extend it this time around, sir?
The government of this time is not in favor of any cosmetic changes in the tax rates. It needs or it is interested in giving meaningful relief for the most deserving. That is why at this point in time, rationalizing the surcharge, rationalizing the cooperative sector for taxation, extending the time limit for the startups, extending the time limit for the new manufacturing units, these are on the top of the mind of the government. So the reliefs were granted, right?
Yeah.
There will be some other day, some other time, some other year in which meaningful reliefs can be considered for the rest of the sectors.
When could that happen? So when do you think that would be opportune for the government to really think that it is time to rationalize the personal taxes to bring relief to the citizens of India?
For last 18 months, we have been stable, right? We have been stable. And 18 months is too small a time period to make up your mind as to hazard a guess whether the same 18 months time will be continuing for future. And in the middle of this 18 months, we had this Omicron scare also, right? Times are very uncertain. Resources are very essential. We can't be letting the resources dry up because of unforeseen things happening.
Right.
We want to tighten the national purses, right? And we want to bolster the revenue. So that is one of the driving decisions. That is one of the decisions which drove not to make mindless or cosmetic changes to the tax rates.
Right, sir. Also, sir, I wanted to ask you, on the front of the tax revenues, we have seen a huge buoyancy this time around. At the same time, a lot of experts have been saying that the targets given by the government are very conservative in nature of the tax revenues. Why is that so? What's the rationale behind it? Because easily, looking at the numbers of the past and the current, one believes that, government will be able to overshoot the tax revenue target for FY22 and for FY23 as well.
No, see, I would seriously differ from what you stated. The target for this year was 11.08 lakh crores, which is roughly 2 crores or 25% more than the numbers we achieved last year. It was only 9.24. From 9.24 actual, the target was given for 11.08 lakh crores. And that 11.08 lakh crores, now it has been increased to 12.50 lakh crores. So the increase is more than commensurate with the potential of the department. It is not, just because the targets are being achieved does not mean that the targets have been given below the potential of the department. No, the targets are very stiff. As we speak, I would say the targets are stiff. Department is achieving from quarter to quarter does not mean that the targets are easy.
Okay, understood. And what is the outlook that you have on tax revenue growth, sir, from here on?
We are expecting a very buoyant tax revenue for this year. We will achieve the BE quite easily. Probably in the next maybe 20 days, we will be crossing the BE, and we will be achieving the RE also of 12.50 lakh crores, God willing, if everything goes well for the next 3 months.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure speaking with you and seeking all the insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.